Hello everyone, this is Terrence of the TSKGCP.com. I've been, in this video, I'm going to talk about the expat lifestyle. And so, the expat lifestyle is a pretty decent lifestyle to, I wouldn't say it's not, okay, so like, there's a lot of glamour to this type of lifestyle, and so I want to take a more realistic viewpoint on this, and a lot of people wants to, like, a lot of people, especially like right after the election of any election for that matter, like especially if there's a change of power structure, especially in the United States, people are like, yes, I want to be an expat, yes, I want to be an expat, but that's mainly based on emotions. And if you're very emotional in that state of mind, then that wouldn't necessarily that would just be, it's kind of a waste of time in that manner. But if you truly want to live a expat lifestyle, and truly want to get out of the United States, there are a lot of ways you can go about this. Now, I would probably take the approach of, let's take vacations, like in a country that you might want to visit. So, like, I might want to visit Switzerland or other countries that obviously has English as a major language, because to me, I don't want to have to necessarily deal with too much language barrier. You know, if it's a country that is very bilingual, meaning they primarily speak Spanish, but they also speak English, then that's fine. So there's a lot of countries that are out there like that, or dual, these dual oriental, or even if they don't, even if their language is something else, and it's like by law they speak like Spanish or French or whatever, but a lot of people speak English as well. So that's like, English is always kind of that second language for a lot of people around the globe, and so that's kind of where that aspect is, and so the idea of being an expat is to kind of divorce yourself from the state that your home country is. It's kind of the idea. It's not necessarily the only reason why one would do this type of lifestyle. They just might want to do it just for the travel and just want to just hop around the globe. And a lot of people have been doing this for, like, I know there's people probably done this for like 5 years, and they're just sick and tired of it. They just want to settle down and live in the area for a long time, like for like a good 5 to 10 years, instead of hopping on the globe. And so there's many different aspects to this, and so really, Noman Capitalist is a good resource for one who is serious about living an expat lifestyle, and he posts YouTube videos quite regularly, and so yeah, it's just he posts up regularly, so it's a good kind of that good resource to basically go to if you want to have that as a good resource. And if you're actually serious about it, you would probably want to go to his website. I think it's nomancapitalist.com. I'm not quite sure, but if you go on his YouTube channel and then click on his website through the about, then you probably get the right one. But and like, if you're actually serious and you have like a significant amount of money that you can just like kind of invest yourself into becoming an expat, then he would help you tremendously. And it's really a case by case scenario. So like what a person wants to do, and And so there's people that wants to do this particular type of expat, and then he'll go through a series of different aspects of like, okay, so you want to do this, this, and this, and then he'll kind of like help plan that out, and you can just do that, get and contact him, and he would really, really like it if you're like, yeah, I'm like, okay, so how much does this cost to go through you, and then be ready to shell out thousands of dollars. I'm assuming it's thousands of dollars. I'm gonna assume it's gonna be in the thousands, if not 10,000, or it might be 10,000, might be 20,000. I don't exactly know. It might just be less than 10,000, but it's gonna end up being a good, probably might be a good 1,000. If I have to place a price to it, is probably it's at least $5,000. You're probably one of the willing to spend, but that $5,000 that you're spending right away will end up saving. It'll have it so that you'll be in the best situation that you want to be in the criteria that you want to be as an expat. And so, and there's many different ways you can be an expat. You could just be a perpetual traveler, or you can buy property overseas and have like bases that he likes to call bases. So like he has like properties in like 3 or 4 different countries. I don't really know. I've consumed his channel quite a bit, and I still consume his channel. And there's a couple of countries that I wouldn't mind going to as a visitor, but more of like if I was gonna actually be an expat, Georgia, the country Georgia, might actually be a good candidate, because they make it really, really easy for me to get in even as a tourist, I believe, a tourist visa, and that's like 360 days. He said, and this was back in February of the video he specifically mentioned was back in February of 2017 or something like that. So that was the beginning of my voluntarist route of voluntarism. And because I was a libertarian, I was a statist libertarian for a while. Now I'm just becoming a voluntarist, and my life is so much better because of that. Because I was putting so much weight into politics that after the 2016 election, I'm like, you know what, this is all stupid. And I kind of figured I would eventually go to that route of voluntarism. Like, if I back a few years ago, like 2012, like in the 2012 election, I kind of thought about it, but I was saying, at the same time, I have if I actually really think about this, it would be, I'll eventually end up becoming a voluntarist or some kind of anarcho-capitalist or agonist. And so, which one do I choose, basically? As what's my philosophy? Yes, to a broad libertarian that believes that the state needs to exist still, kind of, just to get to the point where we can just ditch the state eventually. Basically, using involuntary methods to bring out a voluntary society. And the whole point of voluntarism is to bring voluntarism through voluntary means. And so, if I do actually, there might be a possibility that I might just run for governor of Minnesota, but as strictly as a writing candidate. And so I actually emailed the Libertarian Party of Minnesota about this, and I did mention in the message that the whole point for me to run is to promote my website, tskgsb.com, and that was it. But that's whatever. I really don't care. And so, and so, but yeah, being an expat, it's not as glamorous as one would think it would be on social media. Like if people post stuff on social media, like the ones that put a more realistic approach is like Noman Capitalist, and there are a few other expat people that gives a person a real world, a realistic a viewpoint of this whole expat life. And so being an expat doesn't necessarily mean it's all glamorous. Of course, there's going to be stuff that you're going to have to deal with anything in life in general. So it's not going to be all fun and hunky dory like a lot of the expats post. But there's a lot of things that you can that you need to know before you become an expat, and then after you become an expat, there's stuff that you gotta keep up and that's just life in general. So it's not just necessarily an easy way to do this, but Noman Capitalist might be a good way to or at least get your feet wet and consume his videos. And so that's just my thoughts. And if I were to like go on this path of becoming an expat, or at least for an expat for 2 or 3 years, probably more like when in my mid 30s to 40s, I might do that just to live globally, because I always have a more of that global mindset, because as a Christian, I always kind of viewed as a Christian that grew up in America. I've seen the sins of America, and I know there's sins like across the globe, of course, but yeah. So like I always had a global mindset of Christianity, because it's not like sorry, my mother's cat is pawing on the door to try to get in to my room, which I can't wait until I get out of this whole situation, which will be within less than a month. So, assuming everything goes smooth sailing with the condo that I'm gonna be buying. So yeah. Anyways, that's kind of like my whole take on the whole expat lifestyle, and the reason why people want to do one of the main reasons why people want to do an expat lifestyle is to cut their taxes. And so, as a U.S. citizen, it's kind of difficult to be an expat, and like truly be an expat and not have to not to give any taxes to the U.S. government. But yeah, just the fact that if I think if you're living abroad, and under certain conditions, of course, your first $100,000 is federally tax free. Now you might have to live in a state that doesn't have income tax, because it depends on your residence in the United States also does play a factor. So like in Minnesota, you still might have to end up paying Minnesota income tax, even if you're not paying any federal income tax, because you're living abroad. It depends on the state, and it depends on. So you're probably safer to just find a state that doesn't tax you on income at all. So like Nevada, Texas, Florida, Alaska, I believe, or I think South Dakota as well. Maybe Idaho, or Wyoming, or those types of states, and New Hampshire, I think, and Tennessee, I believe. Those are the states that came up to my mind. well, with the exception of dividend and investment related. But anyways, I'm gonna cut this video. Thank you so much for hearing about the expat lifestyle that I may or may not embark. That's going to be more like a 5 to 10 year route that I might end up taking for maybe for a year or two. Try it out, test it out, but or even just visit. Anyways, thank you so much for listening and rambling about my what I want to talk about. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.